Do you have a mountain that you've been trying to climb? A problem, a challenge, an issue, a difficulty? Well, if you have, this video is for you. I'm going to talk about a simple word, the word resolve. And I'm going to use a quote by Jim Rohn. And in this quote, he says, Resolve says, I will. The man says, I will climb this mountain. They told me it is too high, too far, too steep, too rocky, and too difficult. But it's my mountain. I will climb it. You will soon see me waving from the top or dead on the side from trying. Jim Rohn. So many of us know who Jim Rohn is. As I read that and reflected on something in my life, I pulled out three simple words that we're going to talk about: decision, determination, and focus. In making that resolve, the first step that the man made was to make a decision. He didn't think about what climbing the mountain meant. He didn't give himself an out by saying, maybe. He decided and declared, I will. That declaration is so important in our decision making. A story about me: in July of 2022, I decided I would start live streaming on YouTube. Never been one to do anything like that, but it was to educate people about personal productivity and being purposeful. The decision meant I had to take so many actions. There were so many that was necessary, and I knew absolutely nothing. But that declaration meant I was taking many, many steps, and each one led to another one. So, what did I do? I set up the channel, of course. That was step one. I decided on the first month of topics that I would cover in this big ocean. I got the banner for the channel created by my brother. I got the thumbnails created by my brother as well for those first shows, and he's still creating thumbnails and other graphics for me. I wrote and uploaded a channel description, never having tried before. I watched other live streams to learn what was done and how it was done. I connected with others who were doing this work. I took notes and I learned. I set up a buy me a coffee page. Had never heard of it before. It's still there. It's still available. You can go check it out anytime. I learned as much as I needed to start using a live production software by the name of Ecamm Live. And I still use Ecamm Live to this day. In fact, I'm using it right now to record this video. Bottom line, when I made that decision, I made a commitment. The next thing after making that decision and making that commitment, I had to get a little determination. I became determined to go through and keep going. You see, it is so easy to start and not finish. I've got plenty of projects and goals and intentions in my history that I started and I didn't finish. What about you? Do you have some that you can say, yeah, I started it? But this live streaming decision, this goal, this project, this objective, whatever label you want to put on it, was different. Why was it different? Why was it different for me? It was different because I had received an instruction from my creator. to tell people what he had brought me through and taught me through many trials and stumbles about being productive, despite what the mess looked like. I'd run from following through on that instruction for a long time. In fact, I did it for years. Then I pulled out some speeches I'd given over years to groups, business groups, speaking groups, public speaking groups, Toastmasters, uh, leadership groups. I pulled up lessons that I taught to staff and leaders in corporate America for years. I looked over years of coaching sessions that I'd had as I coached ministers, preachers, nonprofit executives, and others. But mostly, I reflected on the difficulty that I had personally come through finding processes, learning concepts, trying software and equipment. I had a tech stack out of the wazoo, but I had tried it all and I finally found a way that worked for me. So now it was time for me to stop running and start doing. So on October 14th, 2022, the Equip Institute live stream show launched. And let me just say this, those first few months of shows, they were rough. I go back and look at the first one now and I go, you had no idea what you were doing. It was truly pitiful, but it's still on the channel. And in fact, sometimes they're still rough. I'm not as polished as others. I don't have a fancy background. I don't have much of the equipment that I was early on told I needed to produce quality shows. But I kept going and I'm still going. I'm still climbing this mountain. The third thing I had to learn, and I learned quickly, was it required focus. Week by week, I showed up for the live stream, but I didn't just show up. I very quickly learned how essential focus is to carry out this decision. That had to be internal, it had to be in me, not external. Because if it was external, I'd do what I'd done before, I would stop. But it being internal meant that I would keep going. Here's the kicker, all of those other ventures that I stopped, I realized as I started going through this journey, climbing this mountain, they were preparing me. I've brought so many lessons from so many of those failures with me, which allow me to focus on showing you, showing others how to find and fix the friction points that stop them. You see, the focus means I have to prepare each show. What does that preparation look like? Writing a show title, that takes focus. What is the title of this? Writing a show description. What is it? It's going to share with people. It's going to educate. It's going to allow the person to transform. Writing a show outline or a script. What am I going to say? How's it going to flow? How is it going to be organized? What sense does it make? What do I leave in? What do I take out? Making decisions and focusing on that simple one show, it requires me deciding what am I going to show on the screen, if anything? When am I going to show it on the screen? What then? What lesson, what trial did I overcome to bring forward into this very next show so that I get a little bit better? So, practicing what I'm going to say was another one. Learning to keep the show focused and on a narrow topic was another. Preparing to engage with those who would show up and come and engage with me during the show require focus. Through all of that, I realized this is my mountain. This is my mountain, and I will climb it. The woman says, in the words of Jim Rohn, I will climb this mountain. They told me it was too high, too far, too steep, too rocky, and too difficult. but it's my mountain. I will climb it. You will soon see me waving from the top or dead on the side from trying. What's your mountain? What's your resolve? You only need three things, none of which you can buy. They cannot be purchased. So go ahead, make a decision, get determined, and focus. And I'll see you at the top. There are some resources in the description of this video below, not down below, right here in this YouTube thing. And if you found value in this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. And I will see you in the next video or in the next live stream. Be well.